Thank you guys for coming in and joining us on this session. This session is just about route building. It's about our routing engine within Cool Running software. We have five major tools that we're going to go over that can lead to a successful summer for you guys. So our speakers today are Tony Dixon, the owner of Cool Running Software, and then myself. I work in marketing and support, and I'll be kind of moderating this webinar as we move through it. We're basically just going to cover, how to plan ahead and build smarter routes using the tools at your disposal. Using those tools on a daily basis, so with real-time dispatching and planning your day before it starts, and then getting visibility from your office on all your drivers across the road. We also have a new feature in the Cool Running Driver app to announce, and then we're going to open it up for questions. So anybody with questions throughout the session, you can either raise your hand in Zoom or go ahead and just type those in the chat and we'll make sure we get to those.
All right, everybody. Hey, again, just like what Nick said, I'm very happy to see as many people showed up to this webinar today. There's a lot of people here that are very fluid in the route builder stuff, and some people could still obviously learning different things about the tool. It provides a lot of features inside the software. Okay, so looking right here, Nick, and first off, I want to thank Nick for pushing so hard to get these webinars and doing all the work that he does to get this together for everybody, to be able to bring out better information for everybody. For those of you who don't know, Nick actually worked for me in the ice business, and he drove ice trucks while he was in college, and he's been kind of working with me ever since. So he has a lot of knowledge, so he's a kid that's actually worked in the industry for quite a while right now. All right. So anyways, Nick here made a flow chart. It's kind of going over the different parts of the route building system. So, first thing, obviously we've got our schedule builder tool where you can go ahead and go ahead and create those different schedules of how often you're going to go to certain stops. And when we say how often we're going to go to certain stops, it could be every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, every second Tuesday, or whatever. That's what the schedule builder does. It creates those auto created orders in the system. That way, they're inside your route builder. You can go ahead and route those stops. But that schedule builder works with our route templates tools. And that route templates tool, what it does is it takes those auto created ordered stops, and you can put those auto created orders, say on a Wednesday, and put them exactly in the order that you want them to go when you making the routes easier to create. And Nick kind of noted here that seasonal capabilities, which we'll discuss later on, where not only we have a schedule builder that we can go ahead and create these different schedules, but we can create schedules for different seasons of the year. Now, all these routes that are created will go into, say, the route builder. The route builder is your function for your daily dispatching. This is where you can go ahead and put all your routes together, and you can make all the adjustments to those routes or the tweaking to those different routes that you've created inside your system. And then finally, it moves on to our RouteVision. Now, RouteVision is exactly what it's called, exactly what it means. It's being able to see exactly the routes that you created on a map, all displayed, seeing where your trucks are at, all your routes are at, and everything. And on top of all this was our latest feature of our route optimization tool, which several companies have taken advantage of to help them come up with different ideas as far as the best way to run a particular route using Google's AI for route optimization. Okay, so Nick, do you want to go ahead and flip?
Yeah, just a quick note
Yeah,
here.
go, Nick.
Using all these tools together give you that engine to reduce stress on a daily basis. So these all build on each other. That's kind of what we're going to go into, and we're going to move through that order, giving best practices and tips on how to get that started in your company. If you're using just one of these, or if you're using two or three, optimally, it's best for you to use all of them because they all work together.
Okay, so right here, guys, is what a lot of people, when they first start off using the route builder, they use what we call I like to call it the pick and pull method. They don't have any actual created orders in the system, not yet at least, but they go inside the route builder, and they basically, you got regular orders that have come in. They go ahead and put those in the system, but then at the same time, they can just pull stops in and just put them in whatever order that they want. They're just literally picking and pulling stops and just creating routes on a day-by-day basis. There's no auto-created schedules or anything like that. And that's exactly what's saying here. Drag and stops, we want to react, and it's more of a reacting instead of planning out your particular routes. There's no scheduler to it. You're just kind of walking in, sitting at your desk, and then deciding these are the stops that I want to do today based on where the calls are coming from. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I think there's a better way as far as like trying to create some type of schedules. Okay, Nick, you want to go
Yeah,
next?
this method, what we've seen a lot is your dispatcher is going to be on their heels, constantly reacting to the things going on during the day, building new routes from scratch every single day. And with the engine, the full engine of our routing system, um, it'll help reduce that stress, reduce the daily work that you need to do to get your routes in order.
Mhm. Great.
So our first stage in this is the schedule builder tool. This
Mhm.
is planning in advance. This is planning weeks ahead of time. These are your auto orders that are going to be in your system on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. You're basically setting them for each location, and based on when they're going to get their deliveries historically, you guys can kind of decide how to do that based on each location. But you're going to group these by day or delivery frequency. You can start now. Basically, what we like to say is this is your perfect world. So if everything ran perfect, these are how the stops would run every single day in the summer.
Okay.
When you get this done, you'll be able to get 75% of your planning done um, that you would normally be doing on a daily basis.
Mhm.
So I'm going to flip it to Tony now. He's going to share his screen, and we're just going to go through that and give some best tips on that, best
Right.
practices on that.
Right. And Nick kind of explained it there. And this is one of the things that I've always said to customers out there when you're creating these schedules. And a lot of people say, well, my schedules are going to change all up. Everything's always calls, things like that. Absolutely. But when we create our schedule, we're creating a schedule based on what would be your perfect world. If the ice chests were exactly where you want them to be, if they're all 25% full, everybody took the exact amount of ice that you expected them to take. They're taking it on the exact day that they want them to take it. What does that look like? What is that type of schedule would that be? That's what we want to build first. And if you can build that, you can go ahead and put those schedules in place, and then you can modify and change those routes on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to kind of give you a kind of a live example here. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And again, a lot of you guys are already doing a lot of this stuff right now. So I'm going to see if I hope I can share that good. All right, Nick, are we seeing my screen?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so this is actually my old Olmsted Ice database right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a schedule in the system right now. So I'm going to go into routing, and I'm going to go to our schedule builder. So inside my schedule builder, I've got a bunch of different schedules that are already built inside the system right now. So I have stops running every 3 days, every 5 days, 13 days. And this is just has kind of turned into my test system. So there's a lot of different stuff in here right now. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create a schedule, and I'm going to add a brand new schedule. And I'm going to do the say, I'm going to say this is a stop for just Wednesdays. Okay. Just Wednesday stops every week, but I can do this every 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever. But I'm going to say this is a schedule for every Wednesday. What stops do I want to do every Wednesday? Okay. Now you'll see over here on the left, everybody, that there's my run every Wednesday schedule right there. But I want to add some stops to it. What stops do I want to do every Wednesday? So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to add some stops. And I'm going to go down this list right here and just kind of pick an area to work with. And this one here looks pretty good. I'm just going to choose almost all of them. I'll take a couple of them off. Let's see here. These are actually my old stops here, so I kind of know who they are. Uh, actually, no, I want to go North Homestead. I'm going to change that. Let's just
And you
make
guys
this.
will know your stops best. You
Yeah.
know, there's that historical data in there to decide on what the best cadence to run these are. But as you're going through it, you can just go ahead and select your locations for each schedule that you're setting.
Okay, so this is my stops that are in my North Olmsted area, which is right in the area that I live in. I'm just going to click OK. All right, so I create a schedule here for every Wednesday. All these stops are done, 21 stops. They're going to be done every Wednesday. I'm going to publish this schedule. So now, for the next 6 weeks, every Wednesday's been set for me. for these particular stops. Now, if I go inside my route builder right now, I want to show you what happens. These stops are inside my route builder waiting to be done as soon as my screen catches up to me. Okay, so if I go inside my route builder right now, you're actually going to see all these stops sitting inside here on my route builder. Okay, hold on, let me get this screen unlocked here. So here they all are. They're waiting for me to put them on routes. Now, pretty much a lot of people, you guys here that work inside the route builder, I know that you can just kind of click and drag and move stops in. Okay, but obviously you don't want to have to keep doing that every Wednesday. You don't have to keep just recreating these routes every Wednesday. The better way to do this is to actually go in and create a template for this particular route. Okay, so I want to be able to take all these stops and put them in the exact way I want to run my particular Wednesday.
So in templates and organization and optimization, this is where all those auto orders are going to be organized in the sequence that you want your drivers to run them. So this is, again, is your perfect world. In theory, once you got all these figured out for each route, each delivery area, all your auto orders are already in there. This is 90% of what you need to do before the day starts. You can just drag and drop these templates into your route builder, and then from there you can make any adjustments you want. Basically just one time you do all the work, click save, and then you can pull it in every single morning. Another note on this, and Tony, we can kind of circle back, but with seasons, these change with your order cadences as well. So you can set seasons and your auto orders will match up with your templates.
Okay, so I'm gonna take over the screen again, Nick.
Yep.
Okay, so now what we're going to do, guys, we got all these stops scheduled for every Wednesday. I want to put them in a template format. So I'm going to go routing and I'm going to go to my route templates. Okay, and I'm going to click on my Wednesday. Now, over here, this is all the stops that you just saw in my route builder. I want to put these in an order that's going to make sense for my template. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to take all these stops. I'm going to put them on my first Wednesday template. So I'm just going to rename this template here too. Very good. Okay, so that right now, obviously, it's in alphabetical order. Okay, so I can click and drag and move these things around in which way I want, or I can actually use our route optimization tool, which I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to click on optimize, and I'm going to optimize this existing route. I'm going to say typically this route starts around 6 a.m. in the morning, goes to about 4:30 in the afternoon. I select it, and I'm going to optimize it. Okay, and it's just told me one of these stops isn't going to be able to fit in that window, which is fine. I'm just going to go ahead and save this. Okay, so now this is actually an optimized route right now, and I'm going to show you guys on a map here what it looks like when I'm done. So now let's go back into the route builder and show you what the template actually did for us. So we're back inside our route builder, and what I can do here, let me do a quick little refresh on the screen. Okay, so we got all our stops right here. I want to put them into a route. So all I got to do now, since I built the template for Wednesday, all I got to do is select it. Am I on the right day? Nope, I'm not on the right day. Apologize. It helps if you get on the right day. Okay, there we go. I'm just going to add template. So here's the template that I just made right there. All I got to do is click to add the template. And it just took all those stops that are in alphabetical order and put it in the optimized format that I wanted right there. So, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to create some type of schedules. What do you like to do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays? Create those auto-created orders, create the templates for each respective day, and you can run them. That way there, when you're ready to run that particular day, all you got to do is click on Add Templates, and it takes all your orders and puts them in the order that you like to start your day with. Okay, so that's basically how it starts. Nick, do we go from next slide from there?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, if you guys can imagine just doing this for however many delivery areas you have. If you started from scratch, putting them in order, making tweaks to orders, all those things that can take hours. That system right there, is a few seconds to a few minutes where you can just pull your stops that you need to run in.
So now let's take a look at this, take a look at this in the RouteVision. And there's my route right there. I already had it. I went in, I created it in my template. I optimized in my template. So that way there I had a good idea which way to run it. And when that Wednesday came up, all I did was say, run my template. And it just went ahead and took all those orders, put them in the route. And this is the order that it's actually running. You'll see actually, this is where I'm at. This is where Olmsted Ice is. And you can see the route kind of takes it out to here and brings it right back to the shop. Okay, so that's using right from schedule builder, route templates, using route optimizations right into our routes. Okay.
So now we're going to move into your day-to-day planning. I'm
Yeah,
going to share my screen, Tony.
yeah, go ahead.
Now, this is when you're actually planning for the day or you're managing on the fly. With all those things set, you're pretty much going to have that extra 5 to 10% rest to do. You can drag and drop your manual orders in. You can run the optimizer to rerun the routes if things change, which they will. But no change will wreck your entire day. You won't be starting from scratch every time you log in. Instead, you'll have a plan ready to go for each day, which will definitely benefit you as you head into the busiest part of the season. We recommend pairing RouteBuilder with RouteVision if you have two screens for the best setup. And that way you can see exactly what's going on and your drag and stops in according to your map or according to your driver's inventory. Tony, I'm going to share again with you.
Working inside our route builder on a day-to-day basis. This right here is, obviously when we go ahead and create our route for a particular day, we can go ahead and the by building up our templates and inserting our routes on each particular day. That obviously we were saying before, it's like, that'll give you about 75% of your work done or whatever. But if you get other calls and things like that, that's where you can go in and make any type of changes to your routes that you might need to make. So for instance, like this route that I have right here, let's say there's no way that this truck is going to be able to finish off this route. This is where we can go in and just make our changes. So I can easily just say, I'm going to add another route. I can take a group of those stops, pull them right off, and create a whole nother route. Just like that. If I wanted to even add more stops to the particular routes, I can go right over here and grab stops on whatever I need to do and just pull them in. Or even create another route. And of course, publish from there. Now, again, if we look
A
inside our
tip
route
here,
vision,
a tip here too.
we'll see the
Every
representation of all the changes that we made on our daily route builder. Go ahead, Nick.
every company that has access to RouteBuilder also has limited access to the optimizer. I think you have 100 stops you can run in every month. This is something that you guys can all take advantage of. Kind of test out, see how it works. If there's something that hits the fan midday, or maybe it's right in the morning, you run that optimizer. It'll set those stops right in order for you, and you could just make one or two changes instead of having to drag and drop all over the place and make however many changes that you need to have to get it all figured out.
All right, so Nick, what do we want to go over next?
It's going to be RouteVision, the visibility, along
Okay.
with routing. So I can share my screen and do the slides now.
Yeah, go ahead.
The RouteVision tool is basically giving you access to every single thing that's going on the road in real time. You can see your driver's location. You can view your truck inventory if they're loading it in. And all this information allows you to make decisions on the fly. So like I said, if you have RouteBuilder on one screen and RouteVision on the other, you can simply take a look if an order comes in, see exactly where that order is, and then kind of make a decision based on, okay, does this driver have enough on his truck? Is he close to it? Which driver should I give this stop to? And then from there, you kind of clean up your day um, until the end of it. So, Tony, when you were dispatching at your company, what were some ways that you looked between two screens just to make decisions and end the day
Yeah.
efficiently?
Yeah. If I always recommend everybody to that if you're using obviously using the route builder screen, make sure you have. And I see some people still working off one computer screen. You're always better off having two or three different computer screens sitting at your office when you're handling all your dispatching, because on one screen you'll be able to you'll see the route builder and all the work that you're doing onside your route builder and all the orders that are coming in, things like that that you can click, drag, and move around. But on your RouteVision screen, it's going to give the you'll be able to look on another screen at the same time and see the RouteVision. So any type of changes that you make on your route builder, you'll be able to see them in the RouteVision. And at the same time, any orders that are open that are non-dispatched orders, you can go ahead and see all those orders right there on the screen at the same time. So should I just go ahead and share my screen?
Yep,
Okay. I know how to share my screen. I'm not having a problem with that. Just having a problem seeing you, Nick. Okay. So we can see my screen again, correct?
yep,
Okay, great. All right. So let me kind of show you the different features that you kind of have like here. So if this was me working inside my office, I'd be working with my daily route vision right here, and I'd be working with my route builder. So these would be my two separate screens inside my office. And that's why I recommend everybody should have at least one or more screens. So you're looking on your day-to-day stuff here, and you're looking on your route vision stuff going on over here. So let me kind of flip back, and I'm going to go back to today. So this right here kind of represents a whole week's worth of orders. And I'm just going to go ahead and add some templates in again. Now there happens to be there's one template actually running right there. I can run that one. But let's just say I don't want to run Wednesday. Let's say I want to run Thursday's templates today on Wednesday instead. And that's one nice thing about the template tool. Even though you're locked in on running templates on a particular day, it doesn't mean you have to run that template on that day. You can actually run Thursdays on Wednesdays or pick certain routes on certain days and run them. So this right here represents all my Thursdays and you know what? I'll grab my Wednesdays too. I'm gonna run Wednesdays and Thursdays routes all on Wednesday. And all I can do is click add templates. And you'll see right here, it went ahead and grabbed the Wednesday and all my Thursdays all at once on one particular route. Now, let's just say one of these routes, you know what? For some reason, I can't do this route today. I can delete this one out and it's gone. I can flip over to Thursday and I can add it back in here. So there it is. Everything has been added in. Now, RouteVision, this is where I'm saying that the extra computer screens come in so handy. Because when I'm looking inside here in my RouteVision, that's everything I ran for that Wednesday. All those routes for the Wednesday. If I flip over here, there's my Thursday. So if you're planning your next day, you can see all that right there. On top of that, inside Cool Running, these are actually particular orders. Okay, so let's flip over to today. Again, we're working on just regular daily uses. All the orders and calls that you got coming in, these are all your hotshot calls. You can go ahead and click and drag and dispatch these orders as they come in. And also on your map, you can actually see which stops are not dispatched. This right here, all these little markers kind of represent stops that are non-dispatched stops. All I got to do is click and drag and move them in. Another tool that I used to use a lot when I was on a day-to-day basis, like let's say I'm working on this Thursday route here. And this is a tool right here that a lot of people don't actually use a lot of. Let me go back to today. It's called the future route filter on the left. And I assume a lot of people actually don't even know actually know exactly how this works. And what you can do with this tool right here is this here shows all the stops that are routed for later in the week. So if you have got a truck out there that's got extra ice left on his truck, and you're trying to figure out where can I send this guy to get rid of this extra ice? And you're trying to think off the top of your head. All right. So what I would do is I would look right inside here and say, well, what have I got routed for later in the week? That's what this future routed filter shows us. And not just in right here, we can also see it right here using your RouteVision. Right here, it says show me stops that are routed for late, show me route stops for later in the week. And actually, well, it's supposed to show it on the map there. Here we go. That's what I wanted. So you can see right here, all these blue markers are representing stops that have to be done later in the week. And right inside our route builder, we can actually drag these stops off future routes and pull them in right to that day. So even though you have these templates set up for that Thursday and you're pulling the stops off, next week, that whole schedule will just start right back up again. So that's why I recommend that people just kind of set your schedules. That way there you have a game plan laid out. And on a day-to-day basis inside RouteBuilder, you can go ahead and make those type of changes. One last thing that I wanted to show everybody here is, let's say you got done building up all your routes for this particular day, and one of these routes, for some reason, you can't do. Truck broke down, driver didn't show up, whatever. But you've got an entire route built and set, but you cannot do it today. You have to do it tomorrow. And again, this is another one of these tools a lot of people don't even know are inside the route builder. What a lot of people are doing is they're tearing the route apart and rebuilding it and putting it back together again. You don't have to do that. If I flip the date to tomorrow, I can go to tools and I can copy an incompleted route. So here's all those routes on Wednesday. Here's that webinar route. I'm just going to grab it and move it. That just moved that entire route from yesterday to the current day. Okay. So that's just a few tips out there, things that I was able to do inside your screen. A lot of things that everybody does out there is if you're working inside your route builder and you're thinking that things are a little bit harder than they should be, then there's probably a tool in the system that can probably help you. And I recommend that people reach out to me and ask questions and say, hey, Tony, how would you handle this type of situation? And I'm more than happy to give tips and advice on how you might be able to use Route Builder more effectively. Didn't it?
Also, if there's ever a question, obviously reach out to Tony. You can also reach out to me, but we also have, most of you guys have seen these before, but we're posting product guides, feature guides, all these things, the ins and outs on how to use each of these new features that we're adding, or even the old features. I dropped 2 of those that pertain to routing into the chat right now. Save them, go back to them when you need it, or when you're training new employees. They're kind of just there for you guys to take it all in and be able to read it. I mean, some of them are more lengthy than others, but it's just a lot of information that we think you guys can get a benefit from. I'm going to share my screen now, and we'll go through the last part here.
Okay, great.
So yeah, all those tools are built to tie in together. Depending on where you're at, which tools you're using, we're saying now before your busy season starts, or as you're kind of getting into it, take a look at what features could be getting underutilized. I would start with the schedule builder if you're not using it. If you build that baseline, this will reduce a lot of time in your day that you're used to spending routing. And you can go through, create new seasons. You can play around with that tool. We have companies who aren't necessarily seasonal, but they use the seasonal tool to just flip through their settings, flip through their auto ordering settings and schedules. And you guys can do it that way. But as you build this out, you're going to have more time on your hands. And yeah, they're just designed for greater efficiency. And it's kind of the purpose of this webinar, just bringing you guys knowledge on this to route smarter as you guys head into summer. So with that, we did want to do a quick little announcement, and I'll give it to Tony here.
Mm-hmm.
We did just launch a new feature in the mobile app, the mobile merchandiser management. Tony, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I just gotta see if I can get my screen to when I connect to my phone. And we did an email blast on this the other day. Loading my phone screen. Hold on.
And a YouTube video as well. I can actually drop the links to those too.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead and drop that link.
So what this will enable you to do is to manage your entire merchandiser list from this Cool Running Driver app. So your drivers will be able to go out in the road, and if there's a box that you're putting out there for a drop off and it's not in your merchandiser inventory, you can easily add that to the merchandiser inventory with just a scan of the barcode or a quick type into the asset tag that's on there. Or if you're auditing, you can go ahead and say, okay, this box isn't in our system, but it's at one of our stops. You can quickly add it in there, do your whole audit process through the Cool Running Driver app. And like I said, there's a YouTube video and a guide for this as well, which will actually walk you through how to use it. But you can also edit and record or edit the records that are on each box. So if you're going out for an audit or you notice something's off, you can quickly go in, edit the details, and that saves right to the office. You can browse your entire merchandiser list from the mobile app now, and it's the same process to assign boxes to customer locations. But if they're not in the system, quickly tag it, get it in the system using the app, and then you can just do a simple service call and drop off for that box. And that way, your records are updated in real time and are staying up to date.
Yeah, so everybody, I wish I could, for some reason I could, so I wasn't able to share my phone screen. But if everyone takes the time to watch that video, I think this is going to be. I'm really happy that we built this into the delivery app, because one of the biggest problems that we've had with my new clients is their merchandisers and getting all the merchandisers inside the system. And the way I had to ask them before, I said, you got to go out, get the information from all your boxes, put them on, get them on a spreadsheet, either manually enter them in or give me the spreadsheet, and I'll upload all the merchandisers and the locations. Now, right from inside the delivery app, your driver can actually go out to the location, or your service tech or whoever, right from inside the app, just tap on the merchandise and upload them and add the box. The video I think goes over it very, very well. It's very, very easy to do. And like Nick was saying, not just being able to add it, but being able to edit it and make sure that information is correct. These are expensive boxes, and we got to be able to take care of them, be able to know where they're all at any given time. And this also works too for and I built this a lot too for a lot of companies out there are trying to manage those dry ice bins that are getting dropped off from your dry ice vendor. They're coming into your shop. You have to be able to add that ID number into your merchandiser list inside Cool Running. And then once you can scan the boxes as they come into your shop, then once they're inside your shop, now you can actually assign them to particular locations out there on routes and also do your pickups. So now you have a way to kind of manage and know where all those blue bins are at any given time. So if anybody wants to obviously learn a little bit more about that, we're more than happy to help in that area. Um, okay, so Nick,
Tony, just real quick, because we're going to move into the routing questions, but does this feature notify when a driver or service tech has changed something with the merchandisers? It's for the office end purposes.
no, there has been nothing on that. It's not a bad idea though, to be able to for like if there was any type of change to a merchandiser made, or basically I think what you're asking is for the system to auto kick out an email or something like that, hey, this particular box or information has changed. I could see that being a lot of emails in the very beginning if we added that feature in. And I could definitely see people out there only telling certain people, certain people are allowed to do it, to be able to make the edits. I've had certain clients out there say they're only going to let their service techs go out there and do it, which is great, but this still gives the service techs a very easy way to go ahead and put those boxes in the system and verify the information whenever you're doing your preventive maintenance.
All
What
right,
other
so now we're
questions you
going to
got,
get
Nick?
into the Q&A section of this.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah, we
said, if
had
you
a
have
we had
questions,
a few things questions come across the chat that I saw.
yeah,
Okay.
we're
Um,
probably these two that we had pre-submitted from the actual registrations.
okay.
I think you covered the one.
Hmm.
and just how to move templates to the next day.
Yep. Yep. Um, one person was asking about the route optimization. The route optimization is an extra feature inside Cool Running. You're not seeing it inside if you're not seeing the route optimizer in your system, is because the module is not turned on. And while in the cost of using the route optimization is it's $50 a month to have the route optimizer, and then there's a per stop fee for using the optimization. So it's if you're individually optimizing a route inside just one route, like I just did in the demo, it's 2 cents. But if you were using the optimizer to say taking all your orders for the entire day and say, listen, make me 5 routes off of all my orders. Okay, then it's a 3 cent stop fee. Okay. What other questions we got, Nick?
Just one on actually the merchandiser stuff is if a tech works for another company that has a Cool Running login, can they have multiple logins? Yes.
I'm good. I'm sorry. Say that question again.
If a tech works for another company that uses the software, could they just have multiple logins? For the driver app, they'd have
I
to be
think what
under
they're
different
asking
emails,
is,
right?
okay, did you want that? Okay, so this tech basically is an outside person that's going out and and working on the boxes or that. You would just add, if that's what we're asking here, you would just add them in as another user in your system. Send them a password reset. They'd be able to log in the delivery app and they can go ahead and they can go out there and make all the edits and changes that they need to do on the boxes that they're working on.
But I will say that the device, though, right, Tony?
What's that?
If they're going to make changes on the device and they're inside one license to get to that second one,
Okay. Yeah, yeah. If they're working for a few separate ICE companies at one time, no, they can only have access to one app at one time. I mean, really, the only possible way they're going to be able to um, make changes on different companies is if they had a different device for every company. So if they are those different companies, if they provide them, say, here's a tablet from our company with our licensing information on it, then they could go out and work for that one. But they can't flip through different company licenses like that without actually closing out one and loading up another one. I mean, physically, totally uninstalling and reinstalling to it and connecting to a whole new license. Okay. Okay. We have, okay. Tyler Mather.
I can just read it.
Okay.
Is there a way we can have multiple people putting routes together for one location? I know for us in some locations we have multiple people working out, putting routes together, and when someone has to lock it for editing, the route builder can't give it access for them to finish.
Right. So only one person inside a route builder can have the ball at a time. Only one person can actually make edits at a time. But you can have what we have, what's called route depots. So, and I know in the uh, in the Mather situation, they've got multiple different dispatch points, and these particular dispatch points handles all the stops in their area. Okay, so they would have their own individual route builder screen that they would work on, and they would go ahead and handle their routes. But still, in that one depot, only one person can have the ball at a time. I mean, I have some companies out there that have 4 or 5 separate route depots, and but each one of them kind of operates independently. It's still one large company, but each one operates its own route area independently of the other. So that way they're not fighting with each other over a route builder screen. But you cannot have one person, you can't have 2 people in there making changes at the same time. And it can also lead to that right there could lead to some problems. It is something that we're actually looking at doing in the future. Some of the advances in with Amazon services and such, it's going to be able to allow us to be able to do that. Where if one person's grabbing a particular stop to be able to try and make a change on a route, nobody else will be able to grab that same stop. But you can probably understand how difficult it might be if you got 2 people trying to do the exact same thing at the exact same time and you don't know that they're doing it.
Yeah, and which one gets saved if
Yeah, which
they're
one gets saved exactly?
exactly. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions? Feel free to raise your hand and call in too.
Mhm. So I want to say again, though, I mean, obviously we're going over the webinar. We're kind of like giving like the outside view of the system and giving you just an overview. But if anybody out there wants to, for me to go ahead and take a look at what they're currently doing for routing, Nick or myself, and have us offer some personal advice on what you could be doing differently, I'm more than happy to get on a call with you and go over what you're doing. And the system's not built to be tight where it cannot be modified. Well, not going to say modified, but you can route several different ways inside the system. I've seen it done multiple different ways as far as on day-to-day routes.
Oh, another question
Okay.
coming in. Is there a way to move a route back after you copied an uncompleted route and move it to the next day?
Yeah, just delete it. Yeah, I think what you're saying is you took an entire route that you built and you moved it forward, and then all of a sudden, okay, now I don't want to do that. I want to take it back. Unfortunately, if you move it forward like that, there's no way to. You can only take an unfinished route and move it forward. You can't take a finished route and move it backwards. Okay. Unfortunately, in that scenario, you'd have to literally delete the route and rebuild it if you're going to go backwards.
Tony, do you want to explain? I think it kind of goes with this. When a stop is placed into the route builder and then published, what happens to that stop if it's then taken off? The order, I mean.
Sorry, say that again.
When an order is placed on a route and actually published,
Hmm.
like so from it's creating that order when you're putting it on the route. What
Oh,
happens to that order once it's then canceled is what I'm getting at.
okay. All right. So are we talking about if we're taking a stop from all locations and putting it on the route and it creates an order automatically?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yes.
if you're one of those people that grabs a stop from your all locations filter on the left, all those stops right there are not orders. They're just there. But as soon as you drag it and put it on a route, it automatically gives it an order ID. It isn't an actual order. Okay. Now, if you take that particular order that you already put on a route and you pull it off, it's going to go right into your hotshots filter. You're going to be your orders area. It's an unfinished order. It has an order ID attached to it. It's waiting for somebody to do something with it. Now, if you decide that you do not want to do that order, all you got to do is take that order and move it to the cancel box. And that's actually probably something that I probably should have showed everybody as far as like some people, when I look at a lot of the routes out there, um, when I did my routes, I always said, keep your route builder clean. What that means is if you have orders sitting in there and you know you're not going to go to them for whatever reason, it's cold. You looked at their sales. They just don't need the ice. Well, then I always say get rid of them, cancel them out. And they're very easy to do. Nick, I think while I'm bringing that up, I want to share the screen on that. Okay, so let me pull my thing back up here. Okay, so I'm gonna share. Let me get the right screen here. There's one. All right, Nick, see that? Nick, can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right, so this is what I'm talking about, everybody. So if you're inside your route builder and you've got, say, like right here, I've got all these stops that are listed as missed stops for whatever reason. I decided not to go there or whatever. Anytime you have orders in your system that you know you're not going to be able to do, don't leave them hanging around. Okay, get rid of them. And that's very easy to do. All you got to do is click and drag them right here to cancel them. So now that order ID has been scratched, we're not going to that place. I could take multiple stops. I can click on one stop, hold down my shift key, and grab all these and say, you know what, I don't want to do any of these stops. Now that just canceled all those orders. Now, one thing we built inside the system here for those of you that say, crap, I screwed up. I didn't mean to cancel all these orders. It's pretty easy to do to bring them back. Right inside here in tools for those who've seen it, you can restore any type of canceled order. So right here represents either by zone or by day. And I'm going to say, you know what? All these orders right here, I didn't mean to cancel them. I can restore them. And it puts the orders right back in, ready for redispatching. So again, what I was saying before is keep your route builder clean. So if you have orders in there that don't need to be done, that way there, when other people come in behind you to take a look at your routes, and if they see all these particular orders, and let's say you can't come to work for whatever reason, if they see them sitting over here just hanging around, they might just go ahead out there and redispatch them. But again, I can just say, nope, I don't want to do these. They're done. Okay. I know I kind of went off right there on a tangent, but I felt that was important enough to bring up. Is there a way to move? Okay, we already answered that question. All right, good.
Oh yeah, if there's no more questions, we can kind of close it up. I'm going to share my screen one last
Okay,
time.
good. All right, Nick, did you want to go over what we might be discussing next month?
Yep. So the next webinar, which will be our last one in this series, before the summer, is going to be about order entry and then merchandiser workflows. So it's probably best if you have anyone that's in your office join us on that. We're just going to go through each different type of order, how to enter these orders manually and properly into the system so that everything works like it should.
Right. And one of the big things that I love showing people on these entering these orders is a lot of there you can put a lot of things on an order to let everyone know exactly what needs to be done in that order. But the one of the big things that I've been showing people lately is making sure that if you have an order that's actually getting a merchandiser or an asset on that order, putting that order in properly. Put in what's going to be billed on the order and the fact that they're getting an asset dropped off on that order. Okay. And putting in the pickup date, which is most important. Um, that was one way, at Olmsted Ice, it didn't matter how good you thought your company was. When it got crazy busy, you could easily lose a merchandiser. That's what this webinar is going to kind of go over. Making sure that you're entering orders properly from the start. That way everything flows all the way to the end. You're not missing merchandisers, and everything on that order is correct right from start to finish.
If you guys have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I did just drop all the resources. There's blog posts, our training center for all these videos in the chat. We just kind of hope that this session was useful for you guys, and we hope to see you guys on April 16th for the order
Okay.
entry
Yep.
webinar.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks for everyone and showing up today and showing interest, and we appreciate all of you. And again, one more thanks goes out to Nick for helping putting all this together.
Thank you, guys.